Genital herpes outbreak triggers. Many people are actually just familiar with one kind of herpes, and that is genital herpes. You will be surprised to understand that there are actually lots of various other kinds of herpes like oral herpes as well as shingles, or even herpes zoster. The primary kinds of herpes simplex are actually HSV1 that triggers sores when one has a cold, as well as HSV2, that triggers the dreadful genital herpes. Here are actually some factors that urge the outbreak of this virus. Sex. This practice is actually mainly in charge of the spread out of genital herpes. The friction throughout intercourse was shown to trigger skin discomfort, resulting in a herpes outbreak. The very initial sign of genital herpes is actually a sharp pain which is actually later followed by sores on the genital area, or even anus as well as butts. Symptoms like hemorrhaging coming from the sores, migraine, as well as fever are actually to be anticipated. Utilizing a lubricant that is water-based can easily reduce as well as avoid the outbreak. Sun exposure. Indulging in the sunlight is good. However, researchers have actually shown that individuals along with the HSV1 virus trigger an outbreak of it if they subject themselves to the sunlight for long. The ultraviolet radiations coming from the sun trigger the virus. Using a hat is actually insufficient to always keep off the sun's rays. One of the absolute most efficient method of avoiding an outbreak currently is actually using sunblock prior to sunbathing. Stress. Continuous stress was revealed to trigger an outbreak of genital herpes sores. People, mainly ladies along with the virus, are actually vulnerable to this. Herpes is actually a one-of-a-kind virus, because it remains in a person's body. It creates the body immune system weaker as well as takes shelter in the nerve root, causing no damage, up till stress as well as various other elements creep up. And also, it triggers the sympathetic nerve system to become active. Fever. When one has actually a fever, there is an increase in the body system temperature level. One feels weaker as well as experiences anorexia nervosa. The enhance in temperature level triggers an outbreak of sores about the mouth, referred to as fever sores. Many people have actually these unpleasant sores within the mouth, creating it difficult to speak as well as eat. Cold sore medication will certainly create the cold sores manageable up till they can easily ultimately vanish. Cold sore treatment consists of antiviral tablets like valacyclovir as well as creams. Hormones. Ladies along with herpes are actually most probably to have actually an outbreak of the virus throughout or even prior to their menses, as well as menopause for more mature ladies since there is a higher change of hormones at these stages. Hormones like progesterone participate in a considerable function in the outbreak of genital herpes. Prostaglandins determine whether the lady will certainly have actually herpes outbreaks. Ladies along with higher E2 prostaglandin levels are actually more susceptible to upsurges compared to those along with higher E1 prostaglandin degrees. This is actually since E2 prostaglandins bring in herpes even much worse. Ought to there be herpes outbreak, herpes medication like Valtrex is actually suggested. Surgical treatment. If you have actually herpes, opting for surgical treatment ought to be actually the final point on your mind, as it is harmful for your well-being. The body system is actually subjected to trauma, which can easily trigger an outbreak of the virus. In the event of cesarean section or even various other treatments, speaking with a doctor prior to going through all of them is actually essential, the choice therefore that you could understand if it is the appropriate point to perform. A herpes on the internet will certainly obtain a panel accredited doctor to send out a straight e-prescription to the patient's pharmacy of option. They'll probably suggest Famvir, Zovirax, as well as Valtrex for HSV1 therapy as well as HSV2 therapy. Weaker body immune system. among one of the absolute most crucial elements in the body system is actually the body immune system. A strong body guarantees that you are constantly healthy and balanced. However, a failing body immune system places you in danger of experiencing a herpes outbreak if you have actually the virus. A treatment like chemotherapy can easily compromise your body. Because the body system cannot protect on its own coming from any type of disease, it cannot quit or even reduce the outbreak. Food. Specific foods items can easily trigger a herpes outbreak while others aid in handling it. It is essential to understand exactly just what type of diet plan you ought to get on for your safety. Consuming foods like fruits, meat, as well as milk, that are actually abundant in lysine, an amino acid that reduces the incidence of outbreaks, assists a great deal. Foods like delicious chocolate, French fries, peanuts, as well as jelly misbehave for you because they include arginine, an amino acid that motivates herpes outbreaks. Essentially, consuming healthy and balanced is actually a wise move.
Thank you for watching. And please subscribe to my channel for my upcoming herpes treatment videos.